Need like a half minute news bloopers.
We're live.
We are live.
Hello, everyone. How
everybody.
now, brown cow? How now?
Unique New York. Unique New York.
Luke, come on, you need one. The arsonist had oddly shaped feet.
I want to swim.
You should watch. There's this documentary called Dealt. It's on Amazon Prime, I believe. It's about a card magician. He's actually called a card mechanic, but he's blind. But it's pretty amazing the tricks he can do. He can pick up a deck of cards wherever and tell you how many cards are in his hand. Like he can pick up like just partial deck and tell you how many cards are in his hand.
How did we go from Anchorman quotes to?
Oh yeah, I should probably tell you that connection. So before all of his shows, he has like a little speech thing that he goes through, and they're like "Ow now, brown cow." It's something like that.
Oh.
Anyways, that's. Hey everybody.
That's what happens when you work with Coach Mike. Sometimes you don't know what's inside his head.
We're like, hey, back up.
Hey guys, the FMH pool, the gutter is fixed. The sticky caulk. Our maintenance team did an awesome job, and Coach Luke and Coach Mike and I put the lane ropes back in today, and we are getting ready for practice. So excited. Mike, is it 10 days?
10 days from today, guys. 10 days from today, so we are potentially having our first practice in 10 weeks.
Woo! It's going to be so exciting. So thank you guys for joining us. We're, as you can see, we're all in a pretty good mood because we are getting ready for practices and excited. So the governor has announced a lot of things. I know several of you guys have contacted us this week saying, hey, pools can open today. Why, like, are we swimming? Are we not swimming? So we are going to continue to prepare and be ready for phase 2 to start on May 18th. We have a great plan that we're going to cover today to make sure that everybody's safe and we stay healthy, but get the kids back in the water. And so we're going to kind of talk through that, but we just want to make sure everyone understands that Governor Abbott did give the, caveat that if cases rise during this phase 1 time, that the May 18th date may be pushed back. And so we are still 100% dependent on the government and all of their expectations and announcements. And so as of now, we're planning to open for all of our kids programs on the 18th. Lap swim, if you guys are lap swim members, that will be opening on Monday, the 11th in the Abel and the Maybe pool. And so that will be we're going to just ease into it. Can't go 300 kids at a time. We're going to start with the individual lap swimmers, and then the following Monday, the 18th, as of now, we're anticipating opening. So we're really excited about that. So we've got lots of information for you today. So I'm going to cover the rules and expectations for the athletes and parents coming into practices. Then Coach Mike's going to talk about, okay, what does it actually look like to come to practice? And then Coach Luke is going to give you all the information you need to be ready for Monday, the 18th. So COM has put together a facility-wide plan for reopening. Our staff has worked really hard. Brad and Laura have done a lot of research, and all of the program directors figured out what exactly is important for their area. And so the things that are just general membership, so this is for everybody, not just swim team, is that if you're sick, please don't come. And I know everyone is saying that, but we just need to say it out loud. If you're not feeling well, even if you don't know what it is, or maybe it's just allergies or a sniffle, but if you have a little bit of a fever, like, please just, if you're sick, don't come. Part of us maintaining and staying open after we open is that people stay healthy. And if you, what?
What's our number one goal?
Number one goal. So again, if you don't feel well, please just skip the practice. Stay home that day. Come your next practice. Excuse me. And then just continue, please, to follow all of the hygiene protocols that that the CDC and everyone has been encouraging us all to do. Washing your hands, not touching your face, those kinds of things. Coaching staff and COM staff will be wearing masks whenever we are not 6 feet apart from the athletes. And so that'll happen kind of during the beginning of practice. But we won't be wearing masks if we are able to stay 6 feet away from the athletes. And so during practice, once the kids are in the water and we're all kind of situated, coaches will probably pull their masks off so we can project loud enough to hear, the kids can hear us. But those are kind of like the general everyone rules. So just please honor those so that we can all keep swimming. The swim team specific rules. We will be continuing to practice strict social distancing. So we're going to be making sure that they're 6 feet apart between all of the kids at all times. So we are really lucky. Our lanes are 7 feet wide. So we'll have one athlete per lane per side of the pool. Okay, so there'll just be one kid on each end of the pool. They'll be swimming and won't be stopped on the same end of the pool or anything like that. We'll have a 6 foot line all the way around the pool where the coaches will stand 6 feet behind that line when they're coaching. No touching, no high fives, no hugs. It's going to be hard, especially the first couple of days. Everyone's going to be really excited to see each other. But a lot of air fives. Yeah, Luke and I gave each other an air hug today, and the Hermits were laughing at us. We are going to be taking temperatures for all athletes as they enter the building. And that's going to be for all members. We just felt like this is kind of a really safe way to make sure that everybody is healthy. Sometimes you can be getting sick and not feel bad. So per the CDC guidelines, we will be sending athletes home if they have a 100.0 degree temperature or higher. So if it's 100, we'll ask them to go ahead and head home and get some rest. A new signed release is going to be required for every athlete to participate. Locker rooms will be closed. Okay, so we'll ask athletes to come dressed in their suits. There's no locker rooms. We will have one restroom open for men and women for emergencies, but we're asking the kids to shower and change at home. So come dressed in your suit, and then you'll leave in your suit. No congregating before or after practice. So stay in your car, come in, you'll swim, and you'll leave. I know that's especially going to be hard on the older kids who like to hang out at the pool, but for now, that's just not a good plan. There are going to be designated entry and exit locations for each group, and so and assigned lanes for all swimmers. So we'll be assigning our lanes each day so that there's no confusion and no chance of kids getting in the same lane with each other. We're going to have staggered start time, so there's going to be a 15-minute window in between groups so that one group can get out of the building safely and the next group can come in. And their equipment bags. Everybody needs to bring your equipment bag. We're not going to have any storage because the locker rooms will be closed. So those are kind of the swim team rules, the policies that we're going to be operating on. Now, here's the thing. I know every family has responded and is feeling a different way about this. Nobody's response is the same. And so some of you guys may be really, really cautious. Please be confident in our plan to keep everybody safe. Some of you guys are on the other end where you don't feel like this is such a big deal and let's just get back to normal life. No matter where you land on that belief system and emotional response to this situation, these rules are the same for everybody. And so we would just really ask that you sit your athlete down and talk to them like, hey, maybe this is how we're handling things at home and with our friends and in our circle, but when you're at COM, you can't give high fives, you can't hug, you can't do that. Or, whatever it may be that is different than how your family is operating, we would just really ask that you talk to your athlete about respecting the rules that COM is putting in place to keep everybody safe. Because if kids aren't following the rules, this is new for all of us, right? So we're going to be teaching and correcting, but if there are athletes that can't follow the rules, that won't follow the rules, then we're going to have to ask them to leave so that everybody else can stay safe and keep swimming. And so we don't want that to happen. So please take some time over the next week and really just talk with your athlete about, what it means to be 6 feet apart and not run up and hug your coach or those different things that you know specifically will be a challenge for your athlete. You know your kid better than anybody and what's going to be the most exciting part for them and the hardest part for them. And so we just ask for your help to make sure that these rules and policies are followed. So, okay, I think that's all of my list of rules. So now Coach Mike is going to talk about, like, okay, it's Monday the 18th. What do we do?
Okay, so just a heads up, on the communicator on Monday, we're going to be sending out everything that Jenna just went over, along with our swim schedule. So when it comes time to your practice time, the goal, what you're going to do is nobody is allowed to get out of their cars until 5 minutes before practice starts. All athletes are going to be entering through the courtyard, and we have 2 doors in the middle of our courtyard, and they're going to be labeled. They're going to be labeled on the map. They're going to be labeled on your schedule of where you enter the building, and there's going to be markers 6 feet apart. So everybody's going to line up in the courtyard 6 feet apart, because before you get in, you're going to get a couple things. There's going to be a coach at the door checking temperature, checking attendance, checking you off, and making sure you have the waiver signed as well, and then assigning a lane. So a couple things, like Jenna said, if your temperature is 100.0 or higher, you're going to be sent home. If the waiver is not filled out, you will also be sent home. And then as long as you're good to go, we'll assign you a lane. Once your athlete, and again, you are more than welcome to stand with your athlete in the line, but once we come into the building, it's just going to be athletes in the building. So once your athlete comes in, they're going to have an assigned lane, and every lane is going to have their own chair, a chair where they can put their swim bag, their equipment, whatever clothes they brought. Like Jenna said, each athlete needs to show up in their suit already. If you're going to wear clothes, of course, it can be over it, and they're going to leave in their suit. The bathrooms will only be open for emergencies. So please have your athlete use the restroom before they leave the house. Again, this is all to just protect everybody, to keep our place sanitary, to keep it clean. The coaching staff is going to be wiping down surfaces before and after practices. But yeah, so you're going to stay in your car until 5 minutes before practice. You're going to line up. You're going to get in the door, temperature checked. Your athlete's going to be assigned a lane, and then we're going to be running our workouts. And we're going to follow a very similar procedure once practice ends. Our goal is, like, we are done on time, partly because we have to sanitize and get ready for the next group. So if your practice gets done at 2, we're probably going to be done swimming at around 1:55, and it's going to take us 5 minutes, or we still have to figure out how long exactly it'll take us, but to make sure we get everybody out of the building safely. And as far as your athlete leaving, we're going to let them go one at a time, get out of your lane, grab your stuff, head out the door. We'll see you at the next practice.
So those of you who are used to dropping your kid off early and then letting them stick around late, like, you got to be on time. Dropping them off on time, because once practice starts, we won't have coaches at the door. So if they miss the beginning of practice, there won't be anyone to check them in and check their temperature. And then at the end of practice, we can't have kids congregating and waiting around when the next group is coming in. So please make sure that you're on time.
Yeah. And like I said, parents can hang out with the kids in the line, especially so you can see how the process is going to work, right? So, and it's going to be new at first. Kids might be a little lost, but we're going to have extra staff there, especially the first week, to make sure it goes smoothly for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think covered. If you guys, again, I put it in the comments, but if you have any questions about any of this, or if you want us to repeat something, just put it in the comments and we will get you taken care of.
One thing that is going to be a little different, in the past, we've always had a lost and found available for athletes to borrow equipment from. We won't be doing that. They have to bring their own equipment. And so it's really important that they have their kickboard and their fins to be able to function for practice, especially for those dev kids, and then the upper level groups that they have their full equipment bag. And then also, if they leave something, if it is something that a coach can sanitize, we'll sanitize it and we'll hold on to it for the week. If it's not something that we can sanitize easily, it's just going to be thrown out just to be safe. And so if your kid gets in the car and they're missing half their stuff, send them right back in to get it. And that way you don't lose that new pair of Under Armour shorts or whatever it is that they're missing. So,
yeah.
Okay, so now Luke is going to talk about Monday and all the information you're going to get on your Communicator Monday.
So
wait, real quick, Luke. I'm sorry. We just had one practice. We just have two questions I want to answer before we move on. So Jackie Mellon asked, could the swimmers leaving go out the back and get picked up in the back parking lot? We're gonna have assigned exits for all the practice groups. So just take a look at that, and that's where you can pick them up. And then as far as drop off, you can drop them off at either end, but it's going to be entering through the courtyard, so that's okay. And then Jesma asked about dryland workouts. We will not be doing any dryland workouts at COM. We will still be sending home drylands, but we probably won't be doing the live workouts like we did, just because we'll all be tied up coaching on the pool deck.
Seniors will still continue to do a Zoom workout. We'll do 4 Zoom workouts a week, but the others will still just be at home.
Sorry. You got it.
Good questions, guys. Thank you.
Great questions.
So Monday when the communicators come out, there's going to be a section at the top that says what to do first. Really important stuff in there. You're going to get a copy of the mandatory waiver that everybody on the team has to fill out. If you don't have this waiver filled out, unfortunately, we will have to send you home. We just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Everybody agrees to the precautions and stuff that we're taking to make sure we keep all of the athletes and families safe. And then there's going to be a practice schedule also for you to look at. Please look at that practice schedule. Every day might look a little bit different depending on your practice group, and the time frame of your practice is going to be different. So we are going to modify it a little bit, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But just be aware of what time it starts and what time it stops, because like Coach Jen said earlier, it's important to be on time for both, so that all of the practices throughout the day run fluently. So there's also going to be a button for you to sign up for a practice time if you're in one of the developmental groups. Please go in there and sign up for one of those practices. That way we can have a good head count. We can know what to expect, and again, everything can just flow. So to Jackie's question, on your communicator on Monday, you're going to see a facility map. That's going to be really important for you to look at. Look at the map, look at the schedule, make sure you know what day, what time, who's using what doors, and stuff like that, okay? So just pay attention to Monday's communicator, click on the buttons. If you have any questions, please reply or reach out to your coach, and we'd be more than happy to answer them for you.
So if the map, we've really tried to make the map as clear as possible. We know COM has a lot of doors and stuff. If you need extra help, like, we will FaceTime you and walk you through it. Like, right. Do not feel bad about not understanding the map or the plan. Like, we will take the time. We have all of next week to get it figured out and make sure we understand. And we want to make sure you guys understand it as well, so that we can execute it as best as possible.
Yeah.
More than likely, your kids are going to know exactly what door or what area we're referencing, because that's probably how it is on the map is probably how we refer to it to them in person. So.
Unless you're directionally challenged like me, and I still have to say, is that by the water fountain or by the back parking lot?
We're going to use words like east and west, but again, there's a map.
Non-scoreboard end.
Scoreboard and non-scoreboard end. Yeah.
West is the back parking lot.
Thanks.
East is Michael's.
Thanks. So the last thing we wanted to talk about was, what is training going to actually look like when we get back in the water? So some of our athletes have been out of the water for 7-8 weeks. Some have been out for 10. Some of them have been going full on with their home drylands and doing extra. Some have done nothing. Everyone's going to be in a completely different place when they get back in the water. The biggest priority for our coaching staff is to make sure that nobody gets hurt. With this big of a break, it's going to be, we're going to have to start really slow. And so, yes, like the senior practice time will be listed as 2 hours. We're not going to swim for 2 hours the first day back. Like we're going to ease into things. We've got to protect their shoulders, protect all their joints. We've got to make sure that we don't overexert kids and then they start getting sick and then they can't come to practice because we check their temperature and send them home. Those kinds of things. So we will be taking our time building back into practices, getting them back into swim shape, those kinds of things. And so please watch your emails for group specific things. So like whichever group your kid is in, maybe they're going to go for half of the time the first week. Those kinds of decisions are going to have to be pretty fluid because we've never done this before. So we don't know how long it's going to take for the kids to be okay to move from 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Like did we make that jump too soon? Did we do too many yards yesterday and now everyone's sitting on the edge rubbing their shoulders? Like the coaches are going to, what, Luke?
And then every practice group is going to be different.
Yeah, and every practice group is going to be different. And so I think it's really important for everyone to be flexible right now. I'm sure you've heard that from every organization you're a part of. But please know that we're so excited about getting back in the water, but we're not going to hit the ground where we would normally be mid-May. Okay, mid-May we'd be almost
ramping it up.
Yeah, we'd be almost to the peak of our training volumes. We'd be getting ready for some speed work, those kinds of things. We're going to be focusing on technique. We're going to be focusing on underwaters. We're going to be focusing on race strategies, those kinds of things. And we're also going to give the kids opportunities to brag and compete and capitalize on the gains that they have made on land over the last 6-8 weeks. We have a lot of kids who've made a lot of strength gains, a lot of progress with running, biking, push-ups, pull-ups, mobility, all those different things. And so we're going to be creative in how we're getting the kids competing and seeing their own progress again. And this season is going to be a great season. I'm really excited about it. It's just going to look different. And it may change week to week. So we just ask that you guys be flexible with us. Coaches will be communicating with parents as things change. And sometimes it might be the individual athlete, right? Like, hey, Mike was complaining about his shoulder today. I know practice starts at 7:15 tomorrow and it's supposed to end at 9:15, but I'd really like for you to pick him up at 8:15. I only want him to swim half. And so please just be, however you communicate with your coach, please make sure you're watching that and monitoring that as we get going back to practices. But we're really excited about getting back in the water and getting the kids back together and working towards these goals and that kind of stuff. But thank you guys so much for being patient and encouraging your kids to stay focused and motivated during this time. I know it's not been easy for anyone, and we really appreciate the support you guys have given your athletes and the coaching staff at CLM. And we're excited for the 18th to be possibly our first day back. So.
Yeah, just to jump on what Jenna said, just supporting the team and supporting your athletes. I know a lot of you guys miss us and we miss you, but we do feel the love. The notes of like, hey, we miss you so much, or the pictures of your swimmers doing weird things in their caps and goggles just because they're bored. It's awesome. It's been great to see you. We can't wait to see you guys.
Or the cookies on our front porches. Those have been awesome too. Thank you, Addie. Luke, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah. Nope. Just we miss you guys, and we're doing our best to try to get a plan together and make sure we can all get back to what we love doing.
Yeah. So after we get going and things kind of get moving, I'd say watch for the next after practice, a couple weeks later on hopefully our plans for some competitions, some non-traditional competitions. We're still planning to host Frostbank. It'll look different than it has in the past, but just keep your eye out on that. As of now, you can assume all meets on the event schedule, I don't want to say are canceled, but they're going to be rearranged and reshuffled. And so you can cross those dates off and be looking for our next plan. Our next phase in reopening will be our competition schedule. So cool. Well, thank you guys for watching the Half Noon News, and make sure you check your email on Monday. Like Luke said, that waiver is really, really important. Your kiddo will be sent home. Please don't make me make your child cry. That will be horrible for everyone involved. sign the waiver. So, okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you all. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.